Coming live from Self Love Lounge. Yeah. My partner Dre. Give me the beat. I'm gonna talk to him. Look. Now as I stand here on my feet, I ask myself, do history repeat? I know it do, but this is deep. From the slaves to the streets, from the cotton to the concrete, you give me Willie Lynch vibes. From that white man you hide, but you would kill me for my fucking ride. That's that envy you can't hide. That's that meet me outside, can let it go cause of your fucking pride. Back in the day, they take two field slaves, turn them against each other, something like the Django days. Whichever one was still alive, that's the one that win. The dead slave, he was gone, you won't see him again. And nowadays, they take two rap niggas, start beef, move out the way, then clap niggas. You better know your weapon good if you aim in sight. And if you kill a kid by accident, you got a night. You niggas so tough and Zimmerman is still around, but you will pay a couple K to knock your brother down. You think that God and evil fake? Until you die and reawaken, your soul done made it through them gates of hell, they await you. And everything you ever feared, that's that shit that's gonna take you. And all them demons that you claim, then took the same out your brain. Now it's time for you to feel the flames. You see them demons like the streets. You can praise them all you want, but in the end you meet defeat. Open your eyes to the truth. But most of y'all can't do that cause them lies be just as fake as you. Been spitting facts all my life. Your brain gotta watch for bullets, but your back you gotta watch for knives. Fuck nigga, you need to listen. I'm competing with the old me. You look at me as competition. I never thought I'd see the day when I would get off on this microphone and say this shit I'm about to say. But hey, it need to be said and they like damn right. Got on my knees, prayed to God just the other night. Help me win the fight against my own kind. And if Black Lives Matter, niggas colorblind. They in denial when they hate it when you speaking facts. But a race war ain't the reason why I got the strap. Don't get it fucked up, cause anyone can feel the shell. But not just anyone gonna kill me for my clientele. Folks be seeking all these questions, but don't want the answers. The last time we stuck together was the Black Panthers. But since then, it's a block for a block. They get on TikTok and make a song about a dead op. To be a rapper now, you need a bulletproof whip. No other genre like this. Now, ain't this some shit? You ignorant. Get on the gram, you don't think twice. And make a joke about him fighting for his fucking life. So many of them throw rocks, then they hide their hands. But this reality, not Meta or the Central Land.
What up, though? It's the word. You see the title. Let's talk about it. Do me a favor. Look, it's free to you, but it mean a lot to me. Hit that like and hit the subscribe if you new. And hit the notification bell, because when I go live, we go live. I've been talking for the last 15 minutes and thought I was actually live, and I wasn't. That's how y'all know I'm new. Okay, yeah, I did it again. My bad. What up, though? It's the word. You see the title. Let's talk about it. But before we get into it, do me a favor. Hit the like, hit the subscribe if you new, and if you like the content, do me a favor. Share it. Help me spread the word. I just screwed this all up. I've been talking for the last 15 minutes thinking I was live. I've been talking for the last 2 minutes thinking my mic was on. But we're going to get into it. I want to talk about Guinness 1415. And, you know, we all have some type of exposure to the Bible. If we current Christians, if we used to read the Bible and believe in it, or if, if people talk to us about it, we all familiar with the Bible. And most people understand that the Bible is written in allegories and parables. And just reading the Bible, you won't get the full context. You won't get the full message. And like I said, if you believe it or not, it's good information. It's helpful information. You know, it is a perspective of people who understood things and looked at things in a specific way. So, and they wrote this book, but the way they wrote it, they didn't read it. They didn't write it for you to just pick it up and read. So from the first, I gotta go to the actual page. Give me 1 second. So Genesis 14, and this is out of the New Intervention. Actually, hold on, man. Let me get in the King James version. Okay, there we go. So this is out the King James version. This is what more people familiar with and they understand the wording. So it said, and the Lord said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of life. So just in that first verse, we read, and this is where people get the perspective is serpents are evil because they're cursed by God. And you'll get people arguing, oh, the serpent didn't slither on his belly until God cursed him, and that's I guess is a religious aspect of it. When you look at this and use spirituality, you understand serpent is the representation of energy, right? So, and when we talking about the belly, you understand the kundalini or the chakra systems. And what this will tell us is these people are cursed to function out their lower chakras, the belly and the sacrum. The two lower levels of your chakra, you got 7. The 2 lowers are your sacrum and your belly, your abdomen. And functioning out of these levels is considered low vibration. So when it says slither on this belly, meaning you can't raise this energy higher. So these people function out their lower selves. And this was a curse, supposedly. But then when you get down to 15, it say, I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thee seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, thou shalt bruise thy heel. And this part, in my opinion, just having discussions about the Bible, people don't even interpret it as the serpent has seeds. They think of the actual animal snake having seeds, and man and snakes, the animal will forever be at conflict. But like I said, when you look at it from a spiritual aspect, you understand these two energies, these two seeds, like the seed of the serpent. That's the people who function at a lower level, evil. And this isn't people walking amongst us, our friends, our family. Some people just simply function on the lower level. You ever see someone do something so heinous or despicable and had no emotion towards it? People who just cause destruction and have no remorse. These are the seeds of the serpent. And when you understand the different attributes of demonic beings. You can call them demons, you can call them devils. When you understand the attributes, you begin to understand how some people are the way they are. And for me, I was just more to accepting it, understanding it. And once I understood it, I know I couldn't deal with it or I won't deal with it. Right? And then you understand the seed of Eve will be a higher function. The seed of God is the people who function on a higher level. And you see that they should bruise their head, meaning positivity or a positive person will always bruise the head, or you can consider it the ego of a lower person. And that can be looked upon why it seems negative people always attacking positive people, or negative people always attracted to positive people. But then you can also look at this from a metaphysical aspect and understand that this resides in us. And that's our internal conflict in every person. We have the potential to be the seed of the serpent, and we also have the potential to be the seed of Eve. So you can see these lessons within yourself and within the world, within other people. And, we all at some point have the potential to be either good or evil, because that seed resides in us. The seed resides in us. And if we don't understand which seed we're feeding, meaning our actions, our heart, our thoughts, our emotions, what seed are we feeding? Are we feeding the seed of the serpent or the seed of evil? Or the seed of Eve? And that's in our personal life. But then you also got to deal with society. You got to deal with the other people. But understanding this, that people function out of that lower serpent seed, you understand who to deal with and who not to deal with. We all, no one's perfect. We all make mistakes. But it's some mistakes that we continuously make. And we continuously make those mistakes. We begin to make excuses for those mistakes. And understanding the traits of a lower vibration, that can help us. That can help a person or it can hurt a person. But if we continue to not seek information that can help us, we will continue making the same mistakes. Because this book was written thousands of years ago, and there's so many lessons in it. And instead of learning the information, we choose to debate if it's real or not, if it's authentic or not. And the lessons in this book, they're taught a specific way for a specific reason. When you go to church, very few churches teach you the Bible. But the pastor will give you a sermon, and the sermon will use portions of the Bible to prove the pastor's point. And that's for a reason. That's why they jump from book to book to book to book, proving a point, never reading the whole verse. never breaking down or explaining it, never telling you it's an allegory, never explaining a parable. Because if they did, you wouldn't need to go to them. If they explained to you how to read the Bible, you wouldn't need to go to them. There would be no purpose for the pastors. There'd be no purpose for the church. Everybody would learn from the Bible, but it's not meant for you to learn from. It's not meant for you to learn from. And we don't even understand the different aspects of the Bible, let alone the Quran or any other holy text. No one teaches us these things. No one seeks the information, though. But as a society, we continue to make the same mistakes over and over again. When these mistakes they've been made for thousands and thousands of years. Same mistakes. And we just we choose to withhold information and ignore. We ignore a lot of stuff. We ignore these things within inside of ourselves. Like I said, no one's perfect. No one's perfect. But if we truly want to become better as people, to be better for the children, we have to be examples. Nate said it today. Shout out to Nate, the Great Podcast. He said, don't be an example, be the example. We have to be the example. That's the only way these generations, because it's going to take time. It's going to take time to change it. It took time to mess it up. It's going to take even more time to change it. But if we don't start, if we keep waiting, if we keep not sharing information, sharing perspectives, sharing understanding, so we can learn and grow, the future is going to get worse than what it is now. And we ain't going to be here. It's going to be our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren. So if you think we going through it now, imagine what they're going to go through. And this ain't just one race. I'm talking about people in general. It's just not black people suffering. It's not. Unfortunately, we would like to, even society does it. It's you'll have a European doing way worse than a black person and still talk about a black person, what they don't have, to make themselves feel better about what they don't have. But in all actuality, we all messed up. And it's not going to be one race to fix it. That's just a fact. We got our own problems. We got big problems. There's a whole system created to not allow a certain group of people, black people, to advance. But in turn, what happens to one group will eventually happen to other groups. And that's just what it is. But even ignoring how we taught things, we ignore that. But then when you get the information, it's like, what you gonna do? You gonna be responsible with it? I don't know. Because it's hard. And learning something new, learning from you've been practicing something your whole life, and then somebody telling you something else now. And it's hard to understand it and go against it. But facts are facts. And there's so many different ways things can be viewed, so many different perspectives told by so many different people. But the fact is that we all have the potential to do good or bad. And depending on the influences inside and outside will determine what we are. And it's really perspective because what's good to some people might be bad for other people. And what's bad for other people might be good for other people. So then we're talking about morality, right? Humanity. To be honest, I don't even know where to go with this. I don't even know where to go because, like I said, I can talk I can talk so much. I can share information. I can give advice. But at the end of the day, we all have to make our own decisions on how we view life. We all have to make our own decisions on how we intake information, how we utilize information, if we even do it. And at some point, hopefully, we will look at ourselves in the mirror and really look at ourselves and make a decision to do right or wrong. And like I said, what's right for me might not be right for another person. And the way the society is built up is like you got to look out for yourself. It shouldn't be that way, though. It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't. That's not how you live. It's not how you function. If you look at any civilization, they were at the height of prosperity when the people was working together. Any civilization, when they went away from that, that's when you begin to see the fall of civilization. And like I said, we do not learn because this book got at least 7 stories about how people work together and built civilizations. And then a couple people came in and ruined that, and the civilization fell. We see it in modern day. But we still don't learn. We don't learn. We make the same mistakes over and over. And instead of fixing it, we make excuses for it. It's other people's fault. And I'm saying this because I used to do it. I played the victim. My daddy wasn't there. My mama didn't love me like she loved my other sisters. I did that. And it didn't do nothing. Because it was me. It wasn't nothing else. It was me. It was something that I had to deal with. Something that I had to face. You know, life isn't fair for anyone. I don't care who you are, and life ain't fair because as soon as you're born, you begin to die. If you know it or not. As soon as you're born, you start to die. That's just what it is. And the richest person can die in the most painful way. Money not gonna save you. Materialism not gonna save fat. Like nothing on this world will save you from death. Nothing. Everyone must die. But while we here, why not? Why not? I like to say, leave it better than what we found it. It doesn't take much. And I'm not naive. I'm not. Please don't take this the wrong way, people. I am not naive. Like I said, this world is messed up. And I'm not telling you to trust everybody. I'm not telling you to put your faith in everybody. I'm not telling you to be nice to everybody because you just can't do it. But what I'm telling you is don't close yourself off. Because when you do, you start feeding that lower seed, that serpent seed. When you start closing yourself off to the potential love that the world has to offer, because all the messed up stuff is more in your face, that's when you start functioning off the lower level. You can't trust everybody, but that don't mean you can. You can't trust everybody, but that don't mean you can't trust people. That don't mean that. You can't believe everybody, but everybody ain't lying. Everybody ain't trying to get you. And if you trust in yourself, you'll begin to feel these things. And if you believe in yourself, even when you get bamboozled, you'll be able to see it and let it go. Let that person go. Because it's not worth your nobody is worth your joy, because like it said right there, they will constantly nick at your heel. They will constantly bruise your heel. No matter how good you are, it's gonna happen. But remember, you always crush their head too. You always crush their head. So don't close yourself off. And I'm only talking because I did that, and I still kind of do that. It's cool on the internet, but in real life, I don't let people close to me. I don't. I feel like if a person willing to prove to me over time they trustworthy, then that person is worth being around me, because that's what I'm willing to do. I follow my own rules. If I meet a person and I feel like, okay, well, me and this person could be cool, I totally understand it's gonna take time to build up that trust, and it should. You should be willing to take time to build up trust with people. You don't have to rush everything. Everybody ain't your friend today that you met yesterday. Nah. But if a person is genuine and their intent is good, there shouldn't be no reason why they wouldn't mind earning your trust. That's how it should be. That's how it should be. But if we close ourselves off, if we begin to test people, I'm going to test you to make sure you're cool. To me, I can't do that. That irks me. It's like I said, I understand it takes time to build bridges. And if I want to deal with somebody, I'm willing to take that time, because I want to make sure that foundation is strong. I'm willing to take that time. But like when a person tests me to see if I'm loyal and stuff like that, that I have a problem with. Because I just feel like if you need to test me, don't rock with me. Don't rock with me. Because I'm not playing games with people. But that's just me. Some people don't mind being tested. Some people don't mind that. And that's cool. But just in general, don't close yourself off. Always be open. And understand it's demonic. The demons that we fear live inside of us. Everybody. Everybody has a demon in them. Everybody has a lower form. Just like everybody has the potential to have a higher form. But we all got demons. We all got demons. And we all able to tap into that demonic spirit. Just like we all have the potential to tap into the angelic spirit. It's what we feed. And how do we feed this? Through our emotions. Because emotions lead to perceptions. How we look at things. How we look at things decide how we choose and make other decisions. But it starts with the emotions. If you're walking around angry all day, how you gonna do something good for somebody? If I'm walking around and I'm just angry, I can't do nothing but cause chaos. I can't do nothing but allow these demonic spirits to work through me. That's how, like, when you hear people say demons are attached to people, that's how them demons get attached to people. That's how them demons work through people, through those lower emotions. This is all religious concepts applied to our physical. When we talk about demons, we're talking about ourselves. Think about the demonic things that people do. If you look at the seven princes of hell or the nine princes of hell, and you begin to see the traits, gluttony, gambling, sex, all these lower addictions, those are all lower vibrations. Those are all demons or problems that we have as people. Rage, all these are problems that we have as people. Even when you look at the angels, virtuous, peaceful, all these are traits that people have. All them angels and demons are inside of us. If you want to believe it or not, just look out into the world. And the same stories you hear about these demons, you'll see people do it. Down to the cannibalism, people eating people. Down to the R word. People just doing demonic things. And we were told that these are spirits or things in the physical earth that people think they can dig down and get hell. Like they go come out of the Euphrates and stuff. No, these are people walking amongst us. Literally people walking. It could be our family, our friends, our bosses, our co-workers. All these spirits or all these demons, they've been right here with us the whole time. And some of us face our own. I face my own every day. um, like I said, I'm very pleasant on YouTube, but in real life, like I got a family I got to protect, and I don't know who out in this world. And I got a handicap, my eye messed up, and my neighbor came down to my house and I asked him to stop doing it. So I felt some type of way when he did it. So I was about to just put some holes in the door. I'm telling him through my camera to go on. Like, why are you here? What did you, Like, bro, you playing me stupid. These are them demons inside me. Like I said, I work on myself every day, but it's some things that make me react. I wanted to hurt this man because I felt like you playing with me and my family in this house. And if I asked you to leave, what intentions are you still here for? I don't know, and I don't care. And I wanted to hurt him. But and then I had to think, because I'm being honest. I think this dude got a mental problem. So I went out and talked to him, and he asking me for a blunt. I'm like, bro, I don't smoke blunts. I told you that last night. You came over my house at 9:30 last night. That's what irritated me too. You know, 'cause you came last night and I told you the same thing. Now you coming back over here, and the way he stare at me makes me feel uncomfortable. And like I said, I can't see that well. So before you move, I'ma move. And that's me fighting the demons. Because I wanted to, but I didn't. And I realized like I need to go talk to this man's family, because this is the second time I done explained to him, you just can't walk up to my home. I don't know you like that. You never even properly introduced yourself to me, and you keep coming around and you stare a lot. I don't like it. Makes me feel uncomfortable. And it makes me feel uncomfortable because I know why. It makes me feel uncomfortable because of my situation. I can't see that well. And like I said, I gotta react before you do. And you moving funny around me. So I had to understand what my problem was. And then my solution was, I'm gonna go talk to his family and I'm gonna just explain to him, I don't mind giving you a black and mild or whatever here and there, but you can't just come to my home. I'm not used to that. The way I grew up, if somebody knocked on your door, you answer with a pistol. That's just the way I grew up. No one comes over my home unannounced. That's even my mom and dad, my family, they call before they come. That's just what we do. We're accustomed to that. So when my doorbell ring and I don't know who on the other side, I feel a certain type of way. And that's my trauma that I deal with, my demons that I deal with. And you might not think it's normal, but guess what? It kept me safe for 38 years. And that's the way I function. Not saying it's right, but that's what I'm saying. If I'm not aware, a situation can turn bad real quick. I have to be aware of what emotions I'm functioning out of before I make a decision. Because I promise you, I wanted to put holes in the door. I'm looking at the camera, you right in front of my door, and it's like I'm telling you to leave and you're not doing it. So we all have the potential. Like I said, I'm not perfect. It's things that trigger me. We all have these triggers, but we have to be aware, because that trigger can make you make a decision that you wouldn't have made if you understood the emotion you was functioning out of. But they don't teach us this. We're not taught about our emotions. We're not taught about how we look and view things under circumstances such as anxiety, anger. People say, well, don't do stuff when you're angry, but why? Explain. We have to start explaining emotions to children, to kids, because it's too many demons out here. And even look at that aspect. Look at the kids now. We call them little demons because of their action. And a lot of it, they're emotional from the trauma they've been through. And they don't know how to act out, but the way they're acting out, they functioning out the demon seed. And they don't even know it. But those same kids have the potential, if they taught and if they're nurtured, to function on a higher level where they can make better decisions. Just because they get into it with somebody They won't be all in their feelings. They won't be all emotional, and they won't go get that gun. They'll be able to talk it out. Even some of us grown folks, we have to learn because just because someone disagrees with you, don't mean you have to be at war. Just because someone chooses to live a different way than you, don't mean you gotta hate them. Just because someone has a different religion than you, don't mean you have to hate them. Where's that coming from? What emotions are you feeling at that point in time when you find something out about a person? If we identify that, if we begin to understand our emotions and how they affect us, especially our perception, we begin to look at life a little different. Fear, a lot of times, like I said, my wife Middle Eastern, so people hear her speaking a different language, you can see the looks on their face. But then they see the big black guy, they don't say nothing. But I see it. People hate because what they don't know. They fear what they don't know. That's what fear is, the unknowing. If you really think about it, the only reason you fear anything you fear is because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know the outcome. I mean, if you ever fear something and then go through it or do it and it wasn't scary no more because you knew now. Fear is simply the unknowing. It's not complicated. That's even like when people know they about to die, they say they at peace, right? I mean, sometimes people be afraid because they did fucked up shit. And they know where they're going, or they think they know where they're going, and they don't want to die. But you hear stories of people about to die and they was at peace because the fear was gone. They knew. If we learn the functionalities of the emotion, we can get through it. Even when you sad, when you depressed and sad, when I do something that'll change my mindset, that'll change me from thinking about what I'm depressed or sad about. And then when I do that, I'm able to look at the situation, analyze it, and find the solution. But a lot of times when you depressed and sad, you can't think. It's hard to think your way out of that. So you got to get active. You got to do something about it. When you're depressed and sad, do something to make you feel good. And once you feel good, you'll be able to look at the situation different. And a lot of times you can learn those things that don't make you feel good. Them be the most powerful lessons in life that you can learn from. And even if you take this into account, it don't feel good and I never want to feel it again. So let me learn how not to. This is the affirmation I say to myself when I feel something that don't feel good. I don't like this feeling. I don't want it. So I'm going to learn from it so I don't have to experience it again. That's the affirmation I use. And then once I learn from the situation, I feel better about it. I generally feel better about the situation because I got something from it. I got something I can use from it. Not just the pain from the situation, but something that I can actually use and go forward. When we don't learn from our mistakes, what generally happens is we continue making them And the reason why we make them because we find excuses of why we made them. My people, they didn't accept excuses for nothing. It really wasn't an excuse. We couldn't. You get in trouble for making an excuse. If you did something, you did it. They didn't care why it was done. Learn not to do it again. And that might have gave me my perspective of the way I look at excuses now, because I was never allowed to make, so I never really got to indulge in making excuses. And I'm hard on myself. Yeah, anybody know me personally, when I do something and make a mistake, I'm hard on myself. And the reason is because the harder on myself I am, the more I begin to look for solutions for that not to happen again. I begin to learn from it. I bask in my failures. I really do. If I fail at something, I dig deep into it because I want to know why I failed, so I won't fail again. I have to learn why I failed or why this situation didn't work out the way I thought it would, because I want to learn. I don't have time. Like I said, and it's things in life that we can't. Things happen in life that you can't prevent, especially like when you was a child. When I was a kid, there's a lot of stuff that happened that I couldn't prevent. You know, that's just what it is. But that don't mean I can't learn from that also, so I can prevent my children from going through it. It's still a lesson to be learned, even if it's observing someone else's mistakes. We have to. That's not the only way to learn from mistakes that are your own. We have to look at other people's mistakes. Why go through it when you don't have to? When I see something happen or situation, that's how I look at it. Well, let me learn from this so I don't have to go through it, because that don't look pleasant. That don't look fun. That don't look good. Let me learn from it. Let me get something out of it. Even if the person don't, I get something out of it. I done seen people make the same mistakes over and over and over, and I done learned from the mistake they made the first time. And then I try to tell them, like, hey, try it like this. And they're like, no, that don't. Okay, bro. Or they come with the excuse. And that's something, like I said, it's things in life that we can't prevent. Things are going to happen that we can't prevent. But when I say make an excuse, I'm talking about if you do something and blame the reason on something else besides you, that's an excuse. Even if you got in a car with your boy and your boy had a gun, you didn't know, cops pull you over, you go to jail. Well, it was his fault. If you make that excuse, you gonna get in the car with the same dude again, or somebody like him who have a gun, and you're gonna make that same mistake. Instead of saying, you know what, I need to be more careful with who I get in the car with. I need to know what's in the car before I get in it. See, when you don't make an excuse, you begin to find solutions for it not to happen again. That's the other side of the spectrum. Like I said, even if you can't prevent it from happening, you can still learn from it. It's so many, so many things I had to learn from in life. Relationships. The relationship I was in before I met my wife. I told her how my previous relationship was, and she took advantage. She took advantage. And she used some of the same tactics that my ex did. I'm telling her how she hurt me, and she used it as a guide. And then I looked at her and I said, I can't be mad because I done told you how to get to me. I told you my weaknesses. So how can I be mad? I need not to do that. I need to not tell people how to hurt me. No matter how close I think they are to me, why would I tell them? Because if a person get mad or feel I did them wrong, now they know exactly how to hurt me. So I wasn't mad at the girl for doing it. I was more mad at myself for putting myself in that situation for her to do it. You know, I could have made an excuse and said, you know, I told you what I've been through in my last relationship, and you go do the exact same thing. It's your fault. Most people will probably be like, "You're right." Like you done laid it out how this person hurt you, and she turned around and did the same exact thing. Why would she do that? It's her fault. No, I told her. Like I told her, and she used it. I mean, you can't give somebody a gun and not expect them to shoot it. I told her. That's me not making an excuse and taking personal accountability. I choose to learn. And when you make excuses, you can't learn. I don't know how I got into this, but this is a whole nother show I wanted to do. But fuck it, we here, right? And in my opinion, this is just my opinion. Playing a victim in something, that's kind of making an excuse too. You know, maybe that. I mean, everybody built different. No matter what I go through, for some reason, I don't want no, I don't want nobody's sympathy or empathy. I don't like people feeling bad for me. It make me feel weak. That's maybe I'm screwed up. Maybe I'm screwed up. But I played victim before. Like I said, you know, my mother and father had me when they was 16. So my grandmother raised me. And I love all my family, but I had two cousins that used to tease me and said my mom and daddy didn't love me because they left me with my grandma. You know, they was a little older than me, but they used to tease me and say that my mom and daddy didn't love me. That's why they left me with grandma. And I used to get mad. And up until my 20s, I was mad and angry at that. And when I would do stuff, that's what I would think about. I never verbalized it to anyone, but that was the reason why I was angry. And by then, you know, my mom, before we moved to Michigan, she grabbed me and brought me with her to Michigan. She didn't leave me with my grandma. She went to school, went to college, and came and got me, and we moved to Michigan. Wasn't no reason I should have still been mad at that, but I was, because that was an excuse that I can use for why I'm so angry. And I held on to it. And as much as I can feed it, I fed it. That was my excuse. You know, I know stories, and I can't tell the story because it's not mine, but I won't tell it. But just think about, if you think about something that happened in your life and is affecting you in a way that you currently are making decisions that you normally wouldn't make. And when those decisions don't come out to be favorable you lean on that, you're going to keep having those same problems. See, me, I can't afford to play the victim no more. It didn't benefit me. It only hurt me. It slowed me down. It only slowed me down. But I digress on that. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just trying to share information. And just in life in general, you know, I understand how detrimental to a person and how detrimental a person can be if they feel victims themselves. Not only them hurting other people, but them allowing people to hurt them. You know, you don't have to be a victim, even if something happened to you and you made it through it. You're no longer a victim. It's better to consider yourself as a survivor. You made it through it. No matter the nicks and bruises you took going through it, you survived it. And instead of allowing it to make you weaker, use it as strength. Use it as strength. I don't even take it. Things I've been through, I don't even look at myself as a survivor. I look at myself as a warrior. That's how I choose to look at it. Because I fought through it. I learned from it. Now I'm battle tested. It's a mindset. It's a choice, the way I choose to look at it. In the way you can reprogram some of the negative things that happen to you. You know, it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy as a process. You know, but don't be a victim. At minimum, be a survivor. But at some point, become a warrior. Become a warrior. Because if it didn't kill you, choose to make it strengthen you. That you got to choose it. And I know some things some people go through or been through. Like I said, it's not easy. It's a lot of stuff I haven't been through. So I would never know how it truly feels, you know. So it's easy for me to say, oh, look at yourself like this. Look at yourself like that. It's easy for me to say that. But what I'm telling you is more beneficial to you than simply telling you to be a victim. I'm going to drop the link. I don't know if anybody in the bushes want to come up. I appreciate whoever back there. You know, the 5 viewers, I know 2 of them. But I appreciate y'all rocking with me. I really do. I appreciate y'all coming through rocking with me. But yeah, if you want to come up, you want to talk about this verse, you want to talk about, you know, the potential of us being good or bad. If you want to talk about excuses or how to stop making excuses. You want to talk about how to get over a situation where you was victimized. If you just want to talk about life, you're more than welcome to come up. But if not, I'm probably gonna end this soon. It was something else I wanted to hit on. Now I wanted to tell a story. The live I was gonna do, it was called Life. The best teacher in life is life itself. And I wanted to share a story because I thought it was deep. Like the older I get, what you breaking over there? What was that? You drunk off water? But the story I wanted to tell was a friend of mine. We was in the 7th grade, and she had lied to her parents about having sex, and she had told her father that this dude did the R word to her. And like I said, we was in 7th grade, and the dad and the brother went over to dude's house, snatched him out the house, and beat him down. And her father and brother, both of them was adults. They both went to jail. They didn't do that much time, but while they was in jail, it was like a month later. Her dad used to always take her to school. Daddy wasn't near, couldn't take her to school. And she was walking one day and she actually got snatched and got R-word. And when it happened to her, nobody believed her. Because it had came out that, well, we all knew that it didn't happen. And so now that it actually happened, no one believed her. And what I learned in that, I learned a couple lessons from that. But the main lesson I learned is don't put people that you love in positions to be hurt or taken away. Because when you really need them, they might not be there. That was the main lesson I learned from that. I mean, most people say you shouldn't cry wolf. But I say that because in life, sometimes we put people we care about in bad situations. We put a person we care about in a bad situation. And that person can be taken away from us, either as death or in jail. But when we turn around and actually need them, they're not there. That story was on my heart because it's actually the young lady actually took her life. And today is the 28th, and the only reason I remember the day she took her life is because, like I said, it was a friend of mine, and her birthday is the 29th. And she took her life the day before her birthday. Because, see, even the guy who did it, and later on after she, took her life, we found out that he actually did it. It was an older kid in high school at the time. But nobody believed her. And it actually happened. She couldn't live with it. But always, like I said, it was a friend of mine, and her birthday is actually the 29th, and I just never forget she took her own life the day before her birthday. She couldn't live with what she did to her parents, to her dad. He had a good, respectable job, and that man went and snatched the boy out of his house and beat him. lost his job. Stepmama left. And then she got our word. Well, stepmama didn't leave until after she passed, but it's just like everything fell apart off a simple lie. Whole family. And what else I learned too was the decisions I make, no matter how independent the decision is, it still affects people that care about me. Even my situation. I had this pseudo tumor, or they call it hydrocephalus. I dealt with this from October 2000 to I had my surgery January 21st, 2001. But my family had to watch me, and any of them tell you I'm strong like bull, but they watched me down, and I know it was hard. I know it was hard for my wife, but I know it was really hard for my sisters and my mother because I don't think they ever seen me in that position. And I prolonged it because I thought the medication would work. I didn't want the surgery. I didn't want no tube in my head. And after a couple months, my wife and my mother, they was just, I can see the anger. Their concern turned to anger because I was prolonging the surgery to try to take the medication, to try to, reverse it. I was hoping it can reverse it and I wouldn't have to get a tube in my head. Because I looked at it as it made me vulnerable. They looked at it like it'll save your life. Because I had 3 spinal taps. 3 weeks. Every 3 weeks I was getting a spinal tap. And if the medication was working, the fluid shouldn't have been as high as it was, but I was averaging. Little mama. But I was averaging 50 cc's of fluid on my head when they did each spinal tap. That was enough to drown my brain. And the surgeon said it should have did some type of damage. It should have, but it didn't. I don't think it did. I don't know. You ask my sisters, they'll probably tell you something wrong with me. But it just took my eye. The fluid got into my optic nerve, took my left eye, damaged the crap out of my right. But I'm still able to talk, walk. But my decision to prolong it caused my family pain, concern, anger. And, now that I had the surgery and I'm better and back up on my feet, I regret not doing it a lot sooner. You want to bring her over here? No, I'm saying I can hold her. You want me to hold her?
I'm trying to.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah. And so, I just wanted to come on and share that information with y'all. Really look into that and think about what I said when you read that verse, Genesis 14 and 15, that we all possess the seed of the serpent, and we possess the seed of Eve, and it's the one we feed the most energy to, and those energies are emotions. But I'm gonna get out of here. 'Cause my baby girl, she ain't having it right now. She want daddy off the mic. But this is the word. You know what I always say. Conversations build nations. You see me live, we live. Come build with me. And do me a favor. It is free to you, but it means a lot to me. Hit that like button if you're watching the replay. And if you're new, hit the subscribe. And if I said something that resonate with you, hit the share button. Help me spread the word. All right, baby. Here come daddy. All right, man. Y'all have a wonderful night, man. Y'all take it easy.